I think we're kind of in the midst of developing rituals. We're such a young team. We haven't spent too much time together, so I think maybe next year we will by that time. But right now we're just feeling each other out still, even though it's late in the season, and we're just getting used to getting ready to play.
So what are you working on in practice as a team? Just getting ready. I mean, it's a big game against UW, but for any game, is there anything specific that you've been working on in practice? Any weakness areas?
For UW specifically, they're a team that really pressures on defense and they crash the rebounds really hard. So we got to work on boxing out and handling the ball on offense. And so those are two things that really hurt us the first time. And so this time we got to make sure we do a lot better.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much for your time. Back to Riley and Michelle.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, our experts will face off.
And the baseball team puts on a show for their fans last weekend. Stay put, you don't want to miss this.
Got an actually good habit as an expert.
Matt Argelopoulos.
He's good.
No.
Kelsey Hodge.
Oh, we had Bruce is on it. I'm really
Go to jail for a gun crime, and your family serves a sentence with you.
Welcome back to ITL. We're going to toss it to Kelsey Hodgson, who's with Bruce Lee and Zach Cecil as they face off.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Face Off. I'm Kelsey Hodgson, and with me is last week's winner, Bruce Lee, and his opponent, Zach Cecil. I'm just going to hand out some points wherever I see fit. There's a lot going on in the sports world, so let's get to it. First topic, the NFL. After 9 great seasons together, the San Diego Chargers and LaDainian Tomlinson have cut ties. Eagles running back Brian Westbrook was also released. Running backs tend to hit the wall at the age of 30. Who do you think will be more productive in the years to come? We're going to go with last week's reigning champ, Bruce.
All right, so with me, again, running backs hitting 30, just looking at recent examples, Sean Alexander, Edgerrin James, they don't really do much. But for the sake of argument, I'm about to say LaDainian Tomlinson. Just because Brian Westbrook had 2 concussions throughout the year, he's not as big, not as physical as LT is. And in the open field, LT is still quicker than Brian Westbrook is. However, it just depends on if they do get the opportunity to even get on a team, and that team would also have to have a good line. So LT saying he wants to go to a championship team, I'm not sure if that's going to work. But in my opinion, because of the concussions, LT will have a bit more productive end of his career than Brian Westbrook.
When I look at LT statistics, especially yards per carry, he's dropped every year, 5.2 yards per carry in 2006 to 3.3 yards per carry this last season. And you know, he's averaged 380 touches in the entire 9-year career he's had. You know, he's worn down. He doesn't have much left. And when you're talking about players that don't perform well after 30, I look at Thomas Jones, who is a hell of a player for the Jets, who ran the ball 700 times last season. And Brian Westbrook brings something to the table that LT doesn't, and that's receiving the ball out of the backfield. I think that if he goes to a team that has a young superstar, maybe like Tennessee or Denver or Kansas City, he could be a mentor and not have that huge load and take the load off of that player, and he can be successful.
But with LT, you're forgetting he did catch 100 receptions in 2004 when they were 1-15, I believe, that year. And also, you have to remember, with the concussion guidelines now, it's harder for a player to come back to a game and play the next week. So LT will have more chances, more carries, more chances to make production.
I agree with you both. You really impressed me with your statistics, so I'm going to give you 2 points. But, I agree with Bruce. I think LT is going to do better than Westbrook because of his injuries, but I really don't think they're both going to be very productive being how old they are. So let's get into the next question. Moving on to the NBA. A lot of teams made moves before the NBA trade deadline last Thursday. What team do you think is going to make the best move or made the best move, Zach?
Well, you look at every team that made good trades. Portland and Cleveland stole Antoine Jameson, but I'm looking the big picture. The New York Knicks cleared $9.4 million from their cap space, and going into the offseason, they're going to have $32 million to deal with. That's a lot of money. You're looking at LeBron, D. Wade, Chris Bosh. I mean, this year, I mean, the Cavaliers did really well, but long term, the Knicks, I mean, GM of the century, Johnny Walsh.
Well, I see your point about clearing cap space. The last time this happened, though, the Bulls did it in '98 after Jordan retired. Nobody signed with Chicago, so it's not even a guarantee that they will even get one max contract to one of the superstars. In terms of immediate value, I have to say Cleveland did it because they did steal Antoine. They gave up nothing for Antoine, and the fact that Zydrunas Ilgauskas might get bought out and might go back to Cleveland will help them in the playoff run, adding another 7-footer. You have 6'10", Antoine Jameson at the 4, and you can put Shaq and Big Z at the 5, and you can also put Antoine at the 3 and have 4 and 5 with Big Z and Shaq. You have more bodies, more rebounding, more defense, and a proven scorer with Antoine Jameson. So I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I like what they did, and the Knicks definitely gave up a lot, and they're banking on getting, even if they get Joe Johnson, who can play point guard, shooting guard, small forward, they're banking on that pretty heavily.
I liked your point on the Cavaliers. I think they made something for this season, a great trade to keep LeBron there, and they're 2 games up on the Lakers. But long term, that's what it is in these franchises. So you got more points there. You both still made points. So,
I hope they actually do it.
So last topic today, the U.S. hockey team beat a favored Canadian team in battle for North American supremacy this past weekend. Will the U.S. ride this momentum and take home the gold medal in Vancouver? Bruce?
What surprised me was not that America won, so I thought they had a chance, but they manhandled Canada. They demolished Canada. They just took over that game. The shot disparity was 3-1, I believe, for Canada, but the goaltending was great. They are playing great defense. They're getting great shots. However, they haven't played Russia. They have Ovechkin and they have Malkin, 2 of the best players in the league. Ovechkin is quite arguably the best player in the league. And then they still got to face Canada if Canada doesn't indeed beat Germany and Russia. So I look at it as they have a shot, but I think Canada playing at home now that they're actually in the medal round is going to want that revenge, and they're going to be hungry and they want that gold medal for their country because they haven't won one since 1960 in hockey.
Well, I think that they might just have put themselves in the favorite category because Canada was the favorite to win the gold medal. And these were the only 2 teams with all NHL players on their squads. And so, these Russias and the Czech teams and Sweden, who has also only given up 2 goals, in the Olympics, those are the teams that have the chemistry. And that was, going into the Olympics, the big issue. And I think that they quieted some people on that. And Canada has a long journey to get back to that. But you're right, for U.S. it's going to be an uphill battle. But I think they put themselves in the driver's seat.
What I think Canada will change is their lines, though, because Sidney Crosby is used to averaging 22 to 25 minutes in an NHL game. He's only averaging 12 in the Olympics right now. They're going to find better ways to utilize their talent, especially Sidney Crosby. And I think they are really hungry for that gold medal because all of Canada is banking on them to win that gold medal. So I have to give it to Canada and say U.S. will get silver.
All right, looking at the points here. I agreed with you that Canada's going to be hungry, but U.S. is ranked first. They have the most points from, and their goaltender blocked 42 out of 45 shots against Canada. So if they keep that momentum, I can see them not even being in the gold medal round, but winning gold. So it's a close one, but Bruce, you got 5 points, and Zach is the champ this weekend with 6 points, just a mere margin win. So we're going to have to give this belt to you.
Feels good.
Wear it proud. Well, that's all for this edition of Face Off. Let's toss it back to Riley and Michelle in the studio.
Thanks, Kelsey. Well, the baseball team kicked off their 2009-2010 season over the weekend with a 2-game homestand versus Seattle U. The Cougs won the first game